What were the casualties on both sides of Joab's and Abner's battle at Gibeon? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of 2 Samuel on Walking Through the Bible. Today we're going to be discussing 2 Samuel chapter 2, verses 24 to 32. But before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, turn to 2 Samuel chapter 2, verse 24. But if you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So 2 Samuel chapter 2, beginning at verse 24. Joab and Abishai also pursued Abner, and the sun was going down when they came to the hill of Ammah, which is before Gibeon, by the road of the wilderness of Gibeon. Now the children of Benjamin gathered together behind Abner, and became a unit, and took their stand on the top of a hill. Then Abner called to Joab and said, "Shall the sword devour forever? Do you not know that it will be bitter in the latter end? How long will it be then until you tell the people to return from pursuing their brethren?" And Joab said, "As God lives, unless you had spoken, surely then by morning all the people would have given up pursuing their brethren." So Joab blew a trumpet, and all the people stood still and did not pursue Israel any more, nor did they fight any more. Then Abner and his men went on all that night through the plain, crossed over the Jordan, and went through all Bithron, and they came to Mahanaim. So Joab returned from pursuing Abner, and when he had gathered all the people together, there were missing of David's servants 19 men and Asahel. But the servants of David had struck down of Benjamin and Abner's men 360 men who died. Then they took up Asahel and buried him in his father's tomb, which was in Bethlehem. And Joab and his men went all night, and they came to Hebron at daybreak. David was now king over Israel, but not all of Israel, because only the tribe of Judah followed after him, with Simeon probably included, because they lived among the cities of Judah. The other tribes followed after Ishbosheth, Saul's remaining son, whom Abner, Saul's cousin and commander, had raised up. Israel could not have two kings, so the matter needed to be settled, and so Abner brought men from Mahanaim to Gibeon to meet Joab, David's nephew and commander, with his men. Now we didn't state this in the last lesson, but it's likely from Joab's statement in today's reading that David didn't send Joab and his men up there for battle, but purely for defensive purposes. The reason I mention this is because of David's vow to Saul in 1 Samuel chapter 24, verses 20 to 22, where it is there we read, "And now I indeed know that you shall surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in your hand. Therefore swear now to me by the Lord that you will not cut off my descendants after me, and that you will not destroy my name from my father's house." So David swore to Saul, and Saul went home, but David and his men went up to the stronghold. Ishbosheth was Saul's son, and so David would have been bound by this vow not to kill him or have him killed. But wasn't David to be king over all Israel? Yes, but David would let God deal with Ishbosheth and do so in his time. Killing Ishbosheth may not have been a wise idea, for doing so without cause would not have brought the other tribes around to his side. Now David wasn't going to surrender to Ishbosheth, and so sending Joab and some men up to Gibeon to meet Abner and his men was a prudent thing to do. Following a game of single combat between some of their men proved nothing, and so a battle broke out between Abner and Joab. Abner's men were heavily defeated, causing Abner to flee. Asahel, Joab's brother, being swift of foot, pursued Abner into the valley. Abner tried to convince Asahel to stop, but when Asahel wouldn't, Abner killed him. Seeing Asahel's body on the road caused Joab's men to stop, allowing Abner to escape far enough to get reinforcements from among the tribe of Benjamin. By the time Joab and Abishai had caught up, the day was ending, and both Abner and his men stood on top of a hill, while Joab and his men were below. Abner wants to know how long this will go on, that brother will fight against brother, leading to more and more bloodshed. Joab responds that basically it is Abner's fault as to what had happened, for had he not come to Gibeon, none of this would have happened. According to our timeline, we believe 5.5 years have passed, and David has been content to allow the northern tribes to sort out their political situation. He trusted that God would work in his time, and so didn't make a move against Ishbosheth as a traitor to the crown. Abner was the one who decided to come to Gibeon. Joab simply was responding. Thus Joab blew the trumpet, and all his men stood still and stopped the pursuit. War was averted. For now, but not for long. Abner and his men crossed over the Jordan River and returned to Mahanaim, while Joab returned to attend the funeral of his fallen brother. Asahel was buried in Bethlehem, the hometown of David's family, and he was buried in his father's tomb. We're never told the name of Joab's father, but it is quite possible that he died younger, since he has a tomb at this point, while his sons would only have been in their 20s or 30s. Asahel, though, is given an honorable burial as a fallen soldier of war before Joab and his men returned to David at Hebron. In all, only 19 men and Asahel died among Joab's men in that battle, while Abner lost 360 men, 18 times more than Joab did. Not only does this show us that Joab likely was the better commander than Abner, teaching his men better tactics, but also that God is on Joab's side here, and David is the rightful king of Israel, not Ishbosheth. But even though this battle ended hostilities for now, Ishbosheth is not going to be content with ruling over 10 tribes in Israel. He wants them all, as he believes that he is the rightful king. So war will break out between the house of Saul and the house of David. And we'll see some of the results of that war, beginning the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. The Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion of 2 Samuel chapter 3, verses 1 to 11, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.